What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So how do you think President Trump is doing right now? So we're 6 months plus into his administration. How do you think he's doing? I want you guys, before I even start this video, go to the comments and let me know how you think he's doing. And then we're going to take a look at some of the polling, the latest polling. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys watch this video and you find it informative, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Okay, let's go ahead. I want to show you guys his job approval. So we're using Real Clear Politics, and what they do is they average the polls. So you're going to have different pollsters here, and Real Clear Politics will give you the Real Clear Politics average, and then you'll be able to see some of the other polls. So when it comes to job approval, and this is all the latest information that we have, Real Clear Politics is in yellow right here, and they're showing minus 5.5%. Okay, now that's disapproval. And so when we're looking at the average for disapproval here, it's 51.4%, and approval is 45.9%. Now let's look at some of the individual polling. We'll go down, we'll look at about 4 here. So the Economist YouGov poll, this was conducted between 8/1 and 8/4. You have 1,528 registered voters, and their approval showing here at 43. Disapproval at 55. The spread there is minus 12. Looking at the morning consult, that was conducted between 8/1 and 8/3. You have 2,201 registered voters. Approval 45. Disapproval 52. The spread there is minus 7. We go down to Rasmussen, and Rasmussen tends to lean right. This was conducted between 7/29 and 8/4. 1,500 likely voters. Approval 48, disapproval 51. The spread there is minus 3, and we'll do one more. IBD TIPP. This was conducted between 7:30 and 8/1. 1,362 registered voters. Approval 45, disapproval 46. The spread there is 1. And so you see the vast majority of polling that we've seen in the last, let's say the last month, is showing disapproval for President Trump. And we have these two here, a +2 and a +2. And one of the polls is from RMG and then Trafalgar. So they are both showing +2. But every other poll that we've seen in the last month, they're all showing disapproval for President Trump. Okay, let's look at President Trump's job approval when it comes to the economy. So when it comes to the economy, Real Clear Politics has it at minus 12.9. So disapproval is at 54.8. Approval is at 41.9. And looking at some of the latest pollsters, we have the Economist YouGov. This was conducted between 8/1 and 8/4. 1,528 registered voters. You have approval at 42, disapproval at 53. The spread there is minus 11. Looking at Reuters Ipsos, this was conducted between 7/26 and 7/28. 1,023 adults. Approval 38. Disapproval 55. The spread there is minus 17. Looking at Emerson, this was conducted between 7/21 and 7/22. 1,400 registered voters. Approval 41. Disapproval 51. Spread there is minus 10. And we'll do one more here. We have Fox News. This was conducted between 7/18 and 7/21. 1,000 registered voters, 44 for approval, 55 for disapproval. The spread there is minus 11. Okay, let's look at President Trump approval when it comes to foreign policy. So we are looking at Real Clear Politics. They have him at minus 10.5, disapproval 53.8, approval 43.3. Looking at some of the individual pollsters, we have Fox News, conducted between 7/18 and 7/21, 1,000 registered voters, approval 45, disapproval 54. The spread there is minus 9. Looking at the Economist YouGov poll, conducted between 7/18 and 7/21, 1,551 registered voters, approval 42, disapproval 52. The spread there is minus 10. Looking at the Wall Street Journal, that was conducted between 7/16 and 7/20, 1,500 registered voters, 47 for approval, 51 for disapproval. The spread there was -4. And do one more here. Gallup This was conducted between 7/7 and 7/21, 750 adults, approval 41, disapproval 56. The spread there is -15. Now let's take a look at immigration. Now this is one area where Trump did well for the first 3 months, I would say. 3 months into his 3 to 4 months into his administration, he was in the approval category. Now he's in disapproval. And so let's take a look at Real Clear Politics. Their average, they have him at -7, and disapproval is 52.1, approval is 45.1. Looking at some of the individual pollsters, we have the Economist YouGov. This was conducted between 8/1 and 8/4, 1,528 registered voters. Approval was 46, disapproval 52. The spread there is -6. Looking at Reuters Ipsos, this was conducted between 7/26 and 7/28, 1,023 adults. Approval 43, disapproval 51. The spread there is -8. Looking at Emerson, this was conducted between 7/21 and 7/22, 1,400 registered voters. Approval 45, disapproval 46. The spread there was -1. And we'll take a look at one more. Fox News, conducted between 7/18 and 7/21, 1,000 registered voters. Approval 48, disapproval 51. The spread there is -3. Now let's take a look at President Trump's approval when it comes to inflation. So looking at Real Clear Politics first, we have -19.7. So this is the highest that we've seen when it comes to inflation. And actually all the other areas, this is the highest. So we have disapproval of 59.1. We have approval of 39.4. And looking at some of the latest pollsters, we have the Economist YouGov. This was conducted between 8/1 and 8/4, 1,528 registered voters. They have approval at 37, disapproval at 58. The spread there is -21. We're looking at the Wall Street Journal, conducted between 7/16 and 7/20, 1,500 registered voters. The approval there is 44. The disapproval is 55. We have a spread of -11. And then when it comes to CBS, this was conducted between 7/16 and 7/18, 2,343 adults. Approval 36, disapproval 64. The spread there is -28. And we'll take a look at one more. Harvard-Harris poll, conducted between 7/6 and 7/8, 2,044 registered voters. We have approval at 42, disapproval at 58, and the spread there is -16. Okay, looking at President Trump's job approval when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we have Real Clear Politics showing the spread at -11.4, disapproval at 52, approval at 40.6. Looking at some of the individual pollsters, you have Emerson, and this was conducted between 7/21 and 7/22, 1,400 registered voters. Approval at 38, disapproval at 46. The spread there is -8. And CBS News, that was conducted between 7/16 and 7/18, 2,343 adults. Approval 43, disapproval 57. The spread there is -14. And then we'll take a look at Gallup. We conducted between 7/7 and 7/21, 750 adults. Approval 36, disapproval 56. The spread there is -20. We'll take a look at one more. Quinnipiac. This was conducted between 7/10 and 7/14, 1,290 registered voters. Approval at 40, disapproval at 54. The spread there is -14. Okay, and the last one that we're going to look at today is the direction of the country. And when we're looking at Real Clear Politics, they have it at -12.3. So wrong track, we have 53.6. Right track, we have 41.3. Looking at some of the individual pollsters, we have the Economist YouGov, conducted between 8/1 and 8/4, 1,528 registered voters. Right direction, 38. Wrong track, 55. The spread there is -17. Looking at Rasmussen reports, conducted between 7/27 and 7/31, 2,027 likely voters. Right direction, 45. Wrong track, 50. The spread there is -5. And looking at the Wall Street Journal, conducted between 7/16 and 7/20, 1,500 registered voters. Right direction, 39. Wrong track, 55. Spread there is -16. We'll take a look at one more. We have big data poll conducted between 7/12 and 7/14. 3,022 registered voters. Right track, 39. Wrong track, 51. The spread there is -12. And so you see, with all the polling out there, Trump is not doing well. And when you look at inflation, he's not doing well at all. He's doing the worst out of all the different categories that we've looked at today. And so what does that tell you? The American people don't think that inflation is under control. They don't think that inflation is going down. They think that inflation is continuing to rise. And we've been talking about this on this channel. Inflation is continuing to rise, and it's probably going to get worse when tariffs really start to kick in. Because right now you have some companies, we've been hearing about tariffs for the last 4 or 5 months. So you have companies that have prepared for that by buying a lot of product. But once they run out of that product, then they're going to have to start paying those tariffs. And when they have to start paying those tariffs, that's when we're going to see prices skyrocket even higher. And it's going to be in a bad time because it's going to be during the holidays, during Christmas, and people are going to be buying products for gifts and things like that. So we're going to be in for a rough road right now. And polling is showing that people are not comfortable with the direction of the country, with the direction of this current administration. But I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.